Canada entrepreneur David Thomson, whose household gave its behalf to Thomson Reuters, is the conduct depositor. He joins Saul Klein, company founder of enterprise equity company Regional Ball, Merrill Lynch's EMEA lug St. Bernard Mensa, and his woman Genevieve, putting in a private power, an ex-US envoy to the UK Matthew Barzun, and his woman Brooke. The names of some investors, one person, and one pair, cannot be open for currently. The freelance CEO will be depositor and businessman Ceci Korjman. Along these individual investors, who own such amounts to every sum, will be minority group shareholders. The most owners are company founders Harding and Katie Van Neck-Smith, the ex-CEO of Dow Jones, who is editor, along in the Barzuns. The Barzuns include a double deposit, both of as portion of the minority group stockholder team, and as justice partners in Harding and Van Neck-Smith in the remnant of the business. All partners in Turtle Print will as well include shares. Above a length debate in his new enterprise's interim offices, in Dollington Road in London's Clerkenwell region, Harding explainable the origins and vanity of Turtle Print. The blog post will reply to questions, at first, which is it editorially? And other, will it job commercially? Natural. The at first reply will be much longer, taking into account the enterprise hasn't yet begun. In a time how saw two general elections, the Brexit plebiscite and the poll of Donald Trump card, the dominating feature of news story in the age of public print is its rate and amount, he argues. As such a consumer sense overburdened, and impotent. In the slogan Sluggish downward, wisdom upwards, Turtle Print will propose three means. These are as well explainable in part on a Kickstarter web page it has set up. At first, a everyday publication on smartphones, efficaciously a sluggish news story nourish, at 11 a.m. in London, 6 a.m. New York, in 5 key trimming, break downward the largest essential issues of the date, as choose by Harding's crew. These will be a conjunction of lyrics and live video, in a hard expressiveness on the background to stories, several inquiry and story. Other, a everyday drafting meeting, of 6 p.m. to, that will be named a Thinkin'. Turtle has been fleeing several of these in latter months. They will be outdoor to members to visit in man, and be the counterpart of a nightly meeting in a paper. Such who go will be emboldened to offer a powerful spot of type, quite rather than just ask questions. Every occasion will be outdoor for world members to circle in, and an editable live video of every meet will be shipped to members the next date. The vanity for every Thinkin' is to unite 4 persons' various magazine beginnings, spelled journalistic, in the shape of a 25 web-page leaflet. How should be palatable in about 15 protocol, and will be allocated up the occasion, vivid discussion, powerful view, in the shape of a get by the Turtle crew, and perfect a conduct, or the smell of a next history. The tertiary item will be a quarter printing ammunition depot, that is shipped by position to members, and in impact a little volume of big reads. All of the exit will attention on 5 wide areas, 5 giants, if you love, technique, financial, nature asset, sameness and long life. The indicates and reply to the at first drafting issue the enterprise many faces, how to differentiate Turtle of the present, extensive offer accessible to consumer. Sluggish news story has been about for centuries, several human beings urge it periodicals, other, the features chapter. To get one sample, the Political Economist has a periodic printing offer, a everyday digital offer, and an events industry. How is Turtle Print any various? Harding says the Political Economist is the largest success news story mark in the UK, and in so above 1 millionth loyalist customers, isn't a bad location to start. He says the enterprise resembles this loving child of TED negotiations and the Political Economist. Lot news story organizations are hard to expand their public print strategies, of simple public publication to public auditory, in techniques such as outdoor resource journalistic. A everyday drafting meeting, outdoor to members, gives the actual life shape. The everyday publication win tea, in the way of the espresso coffee facility of the Political Economist, offer a overview of all news story. Instead of, it will propose a get on 5 big stories, several of that news story point of sale may usually be ignoring. This a main spot of distinction is drafting philosophical. Harding says Turtle will be non-party policy, in no owner and no thin relationships in advertisers, since it will be completely underfunded via affiliation. Because a publishing love the political economist was based to contribute liberal, and a publishing love the finance Times has a finance ideology, this key is in the behalf, Turtle Print is no an economical relying organization. Our key concept is private liability. Harding argues how couple principles, freedom and justice, managed each news story organization for lot of the history age. He wants to change of such to a attention on virtue, the concept how everyone has a order to be recognized and respectable. In spite not creature verified to any side, Turtle Print will include a powerful spot of type, for copy on Brexit. Harding insists the spot of type win T just be his their own, and will develop relying on contributions. He cites a latter discussion detained by the business on cryptographic currencies as illustration. He introduced the discussion thought down there may be a instance for prohibiting them, by the late, the unanimity was they are an property that should be taxable of any sum. His own type had modified several of the drafting philosophical, such as not leveling in any side or fraction, is known, some bits, such as the expressiveness on virtue and private liability, partly less than so. Which of the reason how Turtle Print will nourish the as-called filtering bladder impact? Isn't it probable it just encourages love-minded human soul to say to every some, quite rather than resist unorthodox view? Leading the Turtle Print has destined a % of rental income to get the thinkin' on the way, consisting to imprisonment, schools and clubs. The length-term aim is to hold thinkins all about the planet. Gender Caruana, the son of killed Malta reporter and against corruption militant Daphne Caruana Galizia, is in accusation of information analyze and public sphere. Emma Sullivan, ex-chief of events for Chatham Building who later ran Barzun's coverage program through the UK, has as well united the enterprise, as affiliate for coding and partnerships. And Alexandra Moussaieviczadeh, a Dutch political economist who treated at ratings agent Sullens and the Legatum Institution up fleeing the Prosper Code, will be chief of indexes. The schedule for Turtle is how 10 editorial will get a budgeting to give in contributors, freelancers get mention, and how a personnel crew of researchers, reporters and much platform producers will do lot of the unique journalistic. The crew will do any investigation job. Turtle has denied break news story, a opulence lot journalists thirst, but will however aim to break down news story, via ancient fashioned scoops how are accompanied up in another place. A everyday drafting meeting for personnel will be detained at 11 a.m. following the everyday publication is published. A comparatively little personnel, and abounded printing work, will assist to hold a lid on original expenses. Allocation expenses are low in the digital year, although wiring the quarter ammunition depot could be costly, depending on the position of members. The industry pattern is all on affiliation. One day you understand thou re a top quality, low amount industry, says Harding, thou can't do ads, since advertisers wish top amount. I didn't wish to do home substance, since I'm skeptical if human beings in fact recite it or look he adds, or I don't wish to be an ad agent. Time reliant on advertisement ever risks compromising drafting values and creature at the caprice of public print companies, if or not home advertisement, mainly advertisement how matches the see and feature of the drafting it sits following to, is efficient, is surely disputable. Billions are consumable each year on home ads, by brands who appear to believe they job. And several publishers are staking their futures on it. Van Neck-Smith, who has excited behind of New York for the work, has a lineage in drive subscriptions at the Side Road magazine. The versatile cost points, of £1 a day for complete members, to £1 a 1 week for several big groups, and £1 a monthly for students and such in affiliate organizations, are intended to circulation to a wide demographics, and especially youthful human beings. drive affiliation, that is to tell, making which periodicals such as Individual I Do in hard to build a sense how subscriber owned to a clubhouse, will be the dominating resource of revenue in next. The some party of it will be business partnerships in big institutions, for whom Turtle will organize at site thinkins, lot love the TED negotiations pattern. The aim is to hit up 8 to 10 such a partnerships in production leaders. These companies will usually thoroughness on propaganda and buy such a sessions as a gain to personnel. Turtle won't reveal who these partnerships are in still, but 2 are signed up, 2 more than are in original negotiations, and 6 more than are in more than progressive negotiations. Time a wide basis of loyalist members is a more secure length-term bet rather than enterprise partnerships, that as discretionary cost can vanish on a caprice. I suspicion how the considerable lumps how go of these companies will be a key resource of income in the previous stages. So lot for the site. Does nobody in fact wish the material ill quite to pay for it? Is the a sustainable business statement, quite rather than the noisy clawing of a smart news story person's itchy? On these key questions, of year no has a key, low of all Harding. While looking at a begin up, investors necessarily ask questions on 2 areas, the human beings and the schedule. Is the management up to it? Who else has nested? The investors he has stretched along lit a band of industries and interests, and will get comfort of every other participation. As for the schedule, is down there a gap in the marketplace? And a marketplace in the space? It is overall feeling, and completely banal, to watch how lot news story consumer sense bombarded, in age of overloading. Besides, sluggish news story is fair a comparatively new behalf for an old concept. It is as well precise how down there is big world consumer demand for British language journalistic how conducted a move behind and surveys the big image. And how dwell events can paint large, loyalist crowds, eyewitness intellect in a square, 5x15 stories, and of year TED. But all the suggests how, quite rather than down there creature a gap in the marketplace, down there might fair be a marketplace, or quite markets, in sluggish news story and dwell events, that are big quite to contain a new applicant. To own several of the sod, Turtle will include to be various quite and nice quite to excuse its cost. How is the enormous unidentified there, the quality assurance of the food? Taking into account the demands on our focus present, and the extraordinary quality assurance of journalistic accessible on the internet, if expert or general, complimentary or not, the contest is fierce. Will the quality assurance of analyze in the everyday publication be cost £1 a day, to members who don't get a rebate? Will the quality assurance of expertise at Thinkins excuse lacking college problem or the kennel choose up? Harding met Matthew Barzun for the last period in Winfield Building, the accommodation of the U.S. envoy. Barzun, who now lives behind in Louisville, Kentucky, was instrument in offering capacity backers. Harding owns a turtle named Agatha, and was brought to the ethical of Aesop's story. He has lent hard on the consultation of Saul Klein, who offered a road map for his at first few months above a lunch in London's Tsar's crucifix. In spite his protection in the planet of financial, he routinely visited Davos, for copy, increase cash for a begin up, and fleeing a industry, is an unusual expertise for lot journalists. At 49, Harding has some big jobs in him if Turtle goes incorrect. How opportunity was driven household to him by one technology magnate in special. Harding gave him the difficult sale in the depositor's Western Shore den. The would-be patron answered by offering Harding discover the alligator reservoir at Whipsnade Zoological, and leap in it. The key spot on tortoises, as Harding tells it, is not how they are sluggish, he's the reality how they gain. In start his own business, in a overcrowded box, he is surely sticking out his cervix of. James Harding will seem on wireless for's the print Shaw on Environment October 17, at 16:30 BST.